All right, so hi everyone, welcome to today's class. So we had a topic that we are working on, advanced prototyping, and we have been into this on the last class too. All right, so we'll just go straight into Figma without waste of time. Okay. All right, so please hold a minute. Let me try to readjust the screen. Okay, so here we have last class we added functionality of that allows us to increase and decrease our prices. So let's see if that still works. Space shifts is going to pop up our. Then we had this functionality, and also you can see it relatively the price also increased. Then also the functionality we had it last was that we could add to carts, and then we have the number of items that we selected. Now it reflects on our cart, and pressing it again will not work. It will not increase. But if I should change this to probably 1, then I now select on my cart, is going to add it to the cart that we have here and make it 3. Okay, so that was one of the things we did in our last class. And also we also looked at let's see, we also looked at towards our cart section that we could increase this, whereas also increases, and we could also, it will also reflect on our total cost. So looking at this, we have 500, we have 200, we have 200, and this, the total is 1,000, and here we have 1,000. If I increase this to 2, we'll have plus $100, which increases here to $1,100, and if I remove it, we'll also have that too. All right, so in today's class, we'll be looking at how to add a functionality like delete, if I want to delete here, and also to also show our items, number of items that we have on a cart, and also to make this our button active and also disabled when we have a product inside. And I'll also show us how to make us have a a message here that says, oh yes, if you have an empty cart. So it's yes, to have an empty cart. So we'll just have to tweak it to see how that works. Okay, so this is the design has already been made here. So we'll see when we have this, and then if nothing is here, how do we have this using advanced prototyping? So most times what we do in these cases is if we are using normal prototyping, so what we would have done in this case is to just duplicate, make this particular screen like 2, and so that if I explore, after exploring, it will take me to where I have my, let's say, where I have this product, or that particular screen is not available. So let's assume that this is where we have our explore, and then after which we'll now select, we'll now do to select, and then thereafter we'll now click on add to cart, and then we'll now have a separate screen that will now have this. So, but in this case, that is not how we want to do it. We want to use the advanced version of it for simplicity and also for functionality also. All right. So let's go back to our variables and see what we created. So in our variables, we had this, we have these products, these particular ones have been here. So this is the tool we are working with. I would have used this a new file, but I just decided to use this because of another functionality we might look into if there is time. All right, so we have products variable. So under products variable, I'm just going to expand this. So we did our total cart number, which is hold on, sorry. So let me just reduce this bit, and then probably I'm just going to expand a little towards this side, and then so that we can see what we're dealing with. Okay, so I'm just going to use, so we had it, this is our products variable. So this is our product screen. So we just decided to split our variables into different collections. So we can also call it into different groups so as to help us manage our variables well. So this is a product. So we said we are going to work with 4 products. So that's why I used mode to have this for 4 products. So because duplicating using one particular design, then applying it to one product, if I duplicate it, the same action that happens to the other first product is going to still happen to the second product because all of them uses the same variables. But using mode helps us to manage that so that different products with different values. All right, so we have our cards total, which this is our cards total. At default, we keep it at 1. Then we have our product name, Nick A Max 24270, which this is what we have. Then we also have our best price, which is the main price of the product. So we have this, and we have the total price, which is this, but it will be set at 0. So if you look at our design, this is our design, it has 0. So hold on, please. So it's only when we prototype it that, and then doing the functionality well, that will now have this to be 500, which is the main price here, the best price, I would say. So looking at the best price here, because we set it at 0, that is why we are having $0 here. And if I increase it to, let's say, probably 100, and then enter, we'll see that this will also change. If I change this particular product to probably, let's say 500 or 5,000, you will see nothing will happen here because this particular product is bind to product 1. All right, so we'll reset the values to 0 because this is not for us to give it a dump data or a dummy data, is for us to calculate it, and that is why it is this way. And to calculate this, okay, so we also have product add to cart, which is a Boolean variable, okay? And so let's see. So we're saying to calculate this is going to be 500, the best price, multiplied by the cart total. All right, the cart total, the product cart total. So if I increase this to 2, we can see that this also increases. And so that will be 500 times 2, which is 1,000. If I increase it to 3, 500 times 3, 15. If I reduce it to give us 500. All right. Sorry about that, guys. I think the network is currently challenged over here. Okay, sorry. Let me reshare my screen. Please, if you have any question, do well to asked at any point. All right, so we can move on. All right, so we said that, okay, so if I increase this, this increases. So this is where we talk about our product page. And if we said, if I select this to probably 13, now 13 is going to be a little bit because of the card day, it's not saying to work. So if I change this to 7 and I had to cut, you'll see that our cut value here changes to 7. And even if it's at 1 and I had to cut, it's still going to be at 1. All right. So we can now go to our cut section over here, which we set a variable for this. And the variable we, hold on, let me access that. So we had a collection to deal with cut variable. And over here, we had our cut count, and also we had our cut total, right? Which all of them were being set to 0. So for the purpose of this section we are going to tweak a little something here. So I would have changed this to probably, but I just want to use this value so as not to twist things, right? So I'm going to change, I'm going to change this to 4, because I told us that we are going to be working with 4 products. So it's your product, while testing it, can be 3, can be 2, can be any value. It can be any number. All right. So I'm testing it with 4 products. So that's why I'm putting in 4 there. So, but before I begin, let me make some changes to my design UI. So as to have these different. So I'm just going to change the pictures here to QWERTY. Right. So I'm just going to change this. So the trick here is that I made this a component such that then I also renamed it to be the component, the name that I'm using. With that, it is easier for me to exchange or change my my images. Another way that would have been done is, oh yes, I would have said, let me make it a component, all right, and then create an instance of this so that I can easily change from there. That's if I had done this. So create an instance, click on going to the component, then clicking on the image. That this has to be a component before it can work. Then I will now check at my top right, we will now see create instance swap property. Then this would have been, let's say, image. I can now change it to whatever name I want to name it, and then create property. And then that would have still solved the problem for us. All right. Then we would have just said, okay, over here that I want to change it to urban, and then that would have still done the work for us. So let's take it back to our cap. All right. So the next thing we are going to do here is, I said we changed our cart count. So looking at here, I said we are going to make this show our item. All right. This is going to show the item, the number of item. So for this to show, we need to, oh, sorry, we need to take this will not work because of what it is over there. All right, so we need to change, we need to give it a variable which we created, and the variable is cat count. All right, so we are going to choose it from here. Then we are going to say cat count. All right, so this is and we gave it 4. This is because it is 4 items that I have here. All right, so any question before we proceed? Please ask question where necessary. With that, we'll now know how to move forward. All right, that being done, we are now going to work on our delete. So this is done. So such that now our delete is going to do 3 things, probably 4 things as we proceed. One of the things our delete icon here, or our delete, yes, icon is going to do is going to hide this product when I delete it. Number 2 is that it's going to reduce the cart item count. This particular count that we have here, it's going to reduce it If I delete 1, it's going to reduce it to 3. If I delete 2, it's going to reduce it to 2. And if I delete all, it's going to reduce it to 0. Then the next thing the delete icon here is going to do is that it's going to reduce the total. So this is going to reduce. Say this is 1000. If I delete 1, it's going to now, let's say I deleted 500. It's going to change it to 500 instead of $1,000. Okay, so those are the basic 3 things our delete button here is going to do. So let's get right into it. So before we start, we are going to create a variable called boolean, our boolean variable. All right, so we are going to create it in product variable. Why? Because we want to manage our products. All right, we want to manage our 4 products, so that's why we are creating it under our products variable. So we are going to create this, and then we are going to call it product visible. All right, so you can name your variable as you want to, depending on how you will remember. So for this, I'm going to set all of them to true. So I want all my products to be visible. So I will set all of them to true. All right. So the next thing I will do is to bind the variable to our card, to this particular card, right? So I'll always advise use components while designing. All right, in that vein, we are going to go to our main component, and right here we will right click on, we'll go to where we have the appearance layer, and then we are going to right click on the eye icon, and then we'll look for product visible. So there we have it, product visible, and then we attach it to it. Then let's go back to it. So nothing is going to happen because we have not prototyped it. What we are just doing now is binding our variables to each of the elements. All right. So the next thing we are going to do is we are going to go back to our our component, and then over here we are going to start our prototyping. All right, so this we are going to say we are going to come to where we have our interaction. Then on top, we are going to say on top set variable target. We are targeting our product visibility. All right, so we say product visible equals to false. That means when I tap on this, I don't want to see this particular card. Then we enter. Now let's go back and check that. So if we come to this particular let's refresh this. Then if we come here, if we click on this, we notice that our shoe item need hair marks here have disappeared. And if I click this, you see it has disappeared and there is no item here. But notice that our items still remain 4 and our cost value still remains 0. And well, this is how our button is supposed to be disabled. Well, this is default. We are going to change that. It's going to be disabled when it is at this stage. All right, so let's go back to our design. All right, so let's go back to our component, and then still on this. Now what we want to do is that we want our accounts to change, right, when it is being clicked on. When it is an item is deleted, we want our cards to reduce by 1. How do we do that? We'll still go back to our prototyping, still on tap. So we are going to now add action. So our action is going to be still on tap, set card count to be card count -1. So we want our card count to be card count, which is 4 -1. So it's going to be 4 -1, that is 3. When it is 3, that means our card count is 3. So if I delete any other one, it will be 3 -1, which is going to be 2. So let's test that out. I'm just going to refresh this. And then if I delete this, what? So we are having an error here, which shows -1. So let's see why that is so. Okay, I think I might know why. So let's go back to our delete option. I think we made a mistake while doing this. So let's see. Let's take this out. So let's say cat count. Cat count. Sorry, not cat count. Subtraction -1. Enter. So let's go back to that. So if I refresh this, we have 0. Hold on. Let's restart this prototype here. All right. This section. So let's see we have 4 here, which is our cat count. All right. And let's go back to okay, 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 okay. Think I know why. Hold on. Let's see. So let's add after delay here to this. So this is to show after why we are adding this after delay is unload, right? Unload that our items should reduce. So let's see if this solves that problem. So this is going to be cat count equals to cat count. Right. Let's go back there. Sorry about that. So let's just this is no, not here. Our after delay. So our target is going to be cat count equals to cat count. I'm just going to say count -1. Enter. Then let's go back and then refresh this, showing -0, -4. Why? Why is it having a negative number? So let's see what we had here. Cat count. So for cat count, what did we have? So for our variable, we had cat count to be cat variable to be 4. Let's just be sure we type in the right variable, right? So that we don't have this. So it's giving us a negative value. And that is strange. So let's figure out. So this will be cat count -1. Which is correct. So let's remove this uh, let's remove this section. Let's see something. Let's remove this. Let's see what happens. So you're having this to be 0. So let's add um unload here. Let's add when this loads up, this particular screen, when it loads up, it should take this value. All right. So how do we do that? We had an after delay. We don't want it to be noticeable. We have a 1 millisecond, and then we set variable to be cat count will be equals to count. Why is network? doing this way. Please hold on. Okay, so sorry about the network issue. So the reason why we had an error on this item was because of network issue. So just to recap on that, so what you need to do, hold on, please. Let me give this as to authentication. Okay, so the reason, so how this works is by applying. So let's go back to the main design screen. So cat count, and for this to work, you need to use you need to apply if you want to work on it. So you need your delete that on delete on your prototype. So let's go back here. On delete, it should set your cat count to be cat count minus one, right? Which is going to, as I explained earlier, that's how it's going to work. All right, so another thing we want our delete button to do is to update the total price. All right, the total cost of this. So if I delete this, I don't want it to only reduce this by 3. I want that I have this to be, oh, I deleted the 500. So the total cost here is going to be 500. So let's go back to our components to do that. So we'll go back to our design and then go to components and then set this on our delete icon. We are going to our prototype. So on our prototype, we are going to say set variable. The target, we are going to target our cat total, all right? We are targeting the cat total. So, and how do we calculate this? So this is going to be cat total. All right, the total amount that is there removed by the product base price, right? So that is the cat total, say 1,000 minus the product base price, right? So let's say we deleted let's say 100. So the cat total is going to be 100 minus on $1,000 minus 100, which is now going to give us the cat total at that point. So let's see, if we delete this, we now see we have 900 to be our cat total. If we delete this, we have 705 plus 2 is $700. If I delete this, we have $500, which is this. And if I delete all, we have $0. And then we also have 0 items on this particular field. All right. Any question?
Yes, sir.
All right, go ahead.
Good afternoon. Yeah. Okay. So what if in the case that the count has changed to 3, maybe for the Nike Air Max, and you get the accounts for each of the products have changed, so that the total number of items, let's say, is now 7. So how would that work when you delete things?
Yeah, it will still work. So it's going to still calculate on the total number of items that we have. And then it will now, setting is just like if I should, let's say, delete this. Let's look at that. So let's say, let me increase the number to 5. I hope that will answer your question, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so but that will take us a little bit back because we'll have to create a product for that particular one, a variable for that. So for us to do that, this is what we are going to do. So let's say you had 7 items, but I'm just going to use 5 as your question says. So we are going to go back to our product. Then I'm going to add a new mode here. Then, oh, interesting. So I don't think I can add more than 4. So for professional, we have 4 modes, all right? And well, for enterprise, so we are using professional plan. So for enterprise, well, you can see that. So well, so let's say, let me take out one mode or one particular. Is there, so let me just explain it. Okay, let's take out one product. All right. So I'm just going to delete this. I think we are going to undo it later. So that means this does not have a mode. So for the fact that we have this, I just set this to, so for the fact that we have 3, that means I will have to change my variables to also 3. That is my count. All right. So I have to go to my cat and then change this number to 3. So this is what my prototype is working with. Any number that I give it on the cart, all right, that is what is going to work with in terms of reduction and also in terms of total price. Okay, so let's say we have it as 3. I don't need to do anything again. If I now take this out and I remove 1, it's going to update it to 2. All right, and if I remove it, it's going to update. So your formula already takes care of that, which we have the cat count minus 1. Let me undo it because I need my product back. Hope I don't go far. Does that answer your question, sir?
No, sir. What I'm saying is that, like, what if the person now wants to buy 2 of the first product, 3 of the second product, 2 of the third product? So how will that affect the total cart item and then the total cart price? I don't know if
Yeah.
you understand me.
Yeah,
Okay.
remember we are having this as an item. This is item 1. This is not 2 items. So we are having 2 of these products. I've increased this, all right? So we are having 2 of this particular product. It does not influence the item. The item already here is 4. An item is the shoe, is the t-shirt, is the hoodie, and also the cap. But if I increase this, it's going to increase my price and also going to increase my total cost. So
Oh,
you notice
okay.
this was,
Makes sense.
we did that in our last class. So
Yes, yes, yes.
go on, check the video. So if I increase this also increases. So
No,
I think
how will I put it now? The understanding that the total cart item would remain 4 because you are dealing with the same materials, regardless of the amount of that same material. But
yes.
that's the thing I think I was missing.
Okay, yes, that's how it's going to be. And please take note that this is not the real product, okay? So this is us. Let's say we are working with a client that actually wants to see how the functionality is going to be, or how a developer that wants to see how it's going to work. So you now send him this prototype, and then the developer is now going to play around with it and then understand better on how it works. All right. So most functionalities, most how it works will be treated on when we do the next I don't know which class is that, but there's a topic we'll be handling that is called developers handoff. All right, dev handoff. So over there we are now going to learn more on how to give our products to developers to work on. All right, so we are going to learn how to, because prototyping is there also, and then there are also other ways to actually tell your developer what the functionalities are going to be. Okay, so I think we need to update this. I think I went back too back that this is not updating. So just to recap on that, so how that is being done is still on the delete. This is the elements doing most of the work. So all right, so we already had this already. So cart total is, we said our cart total is going to be cart total, okay, sorry, cart total minus the product total price. Okay, so let's go back and check, because most times we do have some bulk. So if I delete this, so that changes to 500. If I take this, that changes to 300. So another functionality I would have loved to add to this was going to be an undo functionality. Okay, was going to be an undo functionality, such that, let's say I mistakenly click this, I should have a pop-up that tells me undo. Then at a point it's going to escape, and then if I don't click it, if I click on undo, then it will come back, and then my item is also going to change back to 4, and then my value is going to change. But let's see, there is going to be a little bit of challenge there, and that challenge I'm going to give us as an assignment, okay? Because I think that's what they used to do in school when there is a challenge. So your teacher will now say, let's take this as homework. All right, so this is the challenge. When this card comes back, the value does not return to the original value. All right, but there's a logic behind that that can be solved. But I think I'm not actually thinking over it. All right, so I'll leave us to go and sleep on that. But let us work on that. Let's work on that functionality of, say, I can undo an element if I want to. So I have a design here. So I'm just going to, I don't think I should use a component for this. I don't know. I don't know. Let me just detach this, because I don't know how this is going to work, by the way. So let's just see. So this, I am going to keep it where I want it to come up when I want to remove an item. So obviously, I don't want it to cover my total amount, and I don't want it to cover my item most times. Or we can keep it on top. So let's take it to top. So it will take this particular section. It's nothing I'm using here for. So this is too much. So I'm just going to reduce it by 16, 16, 32. And I think this is fine, even though it seems, let me see. Okay, so this is fine. So another thing I would have done is to have a loader. Remember when we were talking about heuristic evaluation? So it's supposed to have a loader here to tell the users also how long it's going to take them for this particular item to escape from this particular section, because users need to know, I don't want to take my time to undo this particular, if there is a need for that, right? So so let's work on that. That functionality, well, that's on progress bar. If you want to do that, you can practice that on your own. So I am going to, so this is the item I want to come up. So I am going to create a Boolean variable. All right. And this is going to be done for each of the cards. All right. But well. Let's not. Yeah, let's do it for one product. This most times you just want to show them how it's going to work. All right, so we have a model. Then if I delete, yes, I want this image to come up, and then this is how I want it to work, the functionality. So we are going to only work with one product. All right, so we want product. So the first thing we'll do is to create a variable, and this will not be done here. It will be done in a product, because it's a product we are going to delete. All right, so I am going to create a Boolean variable. All right, and I'm going to call it show undo model. All right, so you can name it anything you want to do. Show undo model. All right, so all of it's going to be at false, because at default it will not show. So that is why I have it off. All right, then let me just take this off, because do I have anything I'm going to do here? Let's just take it out so it doesn't cover. So I'm just going to apply it to this. So if I apply it to this, you know how to apply on your appearance, you right click, and then you now go to show where we have product variables, we now go to show undo model. So it's going to escape. So I'm going to undo because I want to work with this button for now. I want this button to do something for me. Okay. So what do I want this undo button to do? Okay, but first of all, how do we bring this in? Let's look at that first. Because currently now, okay, let's set up the undo button. Let's set up the undo button because I don't want to visit this area yet first. Because if I off this and then go back or have to undo it, then that will take a while. So for this undo button, do we need a variable? No need for that because we already have product visibility. Let's look at our variable. These are the things it's going to affect. So we will need product visibility. We will need product cut total. All right. So we'll need the best price, and we'll also need the total price for this. And also we'll need the one we just created now, undo model. All right. So that we already have here. So that is those elements we'll need for this to work, or those, yeah, let's just. So I'm going to go to prototype because we want to prototype this action. We want it to work. So for this, we are going to click on this. This is going to be on tap. All right. It is going to be on tap. And on tap, we want that we want to set product visibility true. Like after tapping this, we want that our product should come back. So we'll set our variable. So our target now is the product visibility, product. So we want our product to be visible. So we'll set product visibility to true when I tap on it, enter. Okay, let's go back. Sorry, I think I entered twice. I don't think that worked. So product visibility to true. So enter. All right. So the next thing I want to do is I want to set undo visibility to false. What this means is if this is undo visibility, when we bind it to the variable, I want that when I click on this, it should bring back this item and this remove modal should also escape. I don't want to see it again. There's no functionality for that. All right. So I'm just going to click on this action button and then set variable and then hold on, please. All right, then set variable. This what I'm targeting is this particular pop-up here, which we named it undo show undo model. All right. So I want to set this to false. All right. When clicking on it, I don't want it to show again. All right. The next thing I'm going to look at is the count. When I remove an item, no, yes, when I remove an item, remember that the items here changed to 3. But when I click on that undo, I want it to return to its original set. So I'm just going to say set variable again. And this set variable, I'm targeting my cat count. All right, is the count I'm targeting. So that will be count plus 1. So the next thing I'm going to target is going to be my total price. This is it. Sorry. My total price. Yep. So this total price. So we want it that when we undo, this total price should come back. Well, I think this is where we are going to have a problem. So, but let's see if this solves the problem. This particular, I want it that on click that my total price, okay, my total price will be equals to the best price, which is multiplied by, I'm trying to bypass to see if we can say that, oh yes, when you are coming back, that the best price here should be equals to, this is the total price, sorry, this total price should be equals to the best price, which is 500 multiplied by the cat total. All right, so let's see if that will solve the challenge we said we had or we are going to have. So after which I am going to target my cat total. So those are the things that is going to influence, because when you delete this, this will go out. My item will reduce to 3. My total number, my total cut, like the cost, is going to reduce. But I want it to come back to its original, like when I undo that. Yeah. So let's set that. So we are going to say set cut total. So cut total will be equals to cut total plus our product base price. No, product total price. Our base price is not being used in this place. So we are not using our base price. Our base price was being used on this particular section. So what we have here is our total price, because this can change at any time to anything. Okay, so let's see if how that works. So I think I applied that to this. So this has 500. So we have not initiated this to, or we've not bind this to our action, but undo has undoed it. But then we are having, okay, we had this. This is 1,000. So this is 500, which is supposed to give us 1,500, but it has doubled it to 25. Yes, this is the problem I was talking about. Now we are going to wrap our mind, but if we cannot, but we'll have 2 minutes to do that. Just be thinking about this scenario, what is happening here. If you can't figure that out, then we'll now move to the next listen. Then you use that as a tag. Can even give that as the full. I can give us that as a full task to go, because that's when we're talking about problem solving. So that is us trying to solve a problem. So let us bind our variable to it. Remember, you right click on your appearance where we have the eye icon. All right, so let's bind it to our undo modal. If we bind it, you see that it has escaped. All right, so let's test the functionality now. So we have said that on delete, we should have our pop-up, but it's not popping up. So let's see which of the products has that. So let's refresh again. Interesting. Okay, let's see what happens there. So let's go to our delete, because that is the function of our delete button. It's our delete that is taking up that case. Let's go to this section. So our delete. Oh yes, we did not prototype this. I don't think we did. We did not. Yeah, we did not. All right, so we are going to say that on clicking on tab, set variable equals to what do we call it? Undo model should be true, right? That means when I click on the delete button, my undo modal should come alive, and that is what it is going to do. So let's refresh this. So if we delete this, we see our undo button comes. Now, another problem we'll have here is that this undo button is going to remain like this until I click here, and then it will escape and it will go back. So let's see, this is 500 and this is 500. We are supposed to have 1,000, but we are having 1,500. So let's rack our brain on that. Let's continue thinking on that. So if I delete this, so this will not work, because remember I said that we will have to do our model for each of the properties we have. So each of the products that we have. So we only assigned it to this particular product, the first product. So that's why when I click on this, that comes up. So that should give you an idea on how to do for the all other products. Okay. Yeah. All right, so let's but we see that this works. All right. So let's see. I want it that if I click on this and this comes up, I want this to escape. Like I want it to remove without me clicking on this. Yeah. Go ahead, Zina.
Okay, sir. But my question is, since you prototyped the undo modal to the um
To the
sorry
company.
to the component, why is it not working for other cards? Why is it just
So
working for just that one?
yeah, the component is assigned to the way prototyping works. This particular component is assigned to the first, is assigned to where is it? Is assigned to, oh, saving product too. Is assigned to the first product. You can, let's see. Let's go back. Now that I've assigned this, it's only when I click on this that should work. So it's always assigned to all. Now, can I see what that is? Hold on. You have to do the way it works is you have to do it for each of the cards. All right, that's how the model works. I don't know how, I don't know why, and I don't know if there is a solution for that yet. All right, well, currently Figma is still trying to see how to help developers handoff, right? So that is the reason for this advanced prototyping, so as to help our clients and also help you when you are doing your user testing, get better feedbacks from your users. All right, so maybe when you are doing your designer developers handoff or doing your user testing, so you can take your time to prototype those. So the idea or the solution there is that you have to do it for each of the cards. Let me take this back to, because I think I just take this back to two. We did it for two. So now me taking it to one is now going to influence one, that if I click on two, it's going to affect all of them. Right. So this is the only one that has been assigned to. Okay, so let's see. So this is how you actually do that. Remember, we are looking at your visibility model. So you now have to apply it to product two. You have to apply it to product one. You have to apply it to product three, to product four, and that will work. But that will use different models. It's not going to be on the same model. All right. So Zina, that's how to solve that particular problem. Applying to the components, well, that would have solved the issue, but it's not. I don't truly understand why that is like that. But well, you can always do your research and then see how that comes up. Okay, so I hope that's fine.
Somehow I would figure it out. Then another thing, how were you able to put that modal on the frame without it entering into the frame?
Yeah, I've not, it's inside the frame. The model is inside the frame. Let's see, it's inside the frame, but remember, like this towards this top side is not an auto layout, so it won't come down. So let me click on this and then manually. Okay, no. Let's go back to our variable and then manually see that. So visibility, so this is the one that it's for our one. So it is, you can look at it, it's inside the frame. It's inside the frame. So it's just that this is where my auto layout starts. So maybe your question is, how did it not do this way? Is that your question?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So it's not inside where I have an auto layout. So it's just on top of this frame there. So it's not close. But even if you should have it inside an auto layout, all right? So hold on, even if you should have this, let's say your item, they had an auto layout, we have a functionality to help you do that. And the functionality is called ignore auto layout. So this particular product is going to ignore auto layout. You can see it at the right part, the top right, where we have your positioning. Right. So if I click on this, it's going to ignore the auto layout and I can adjust it to anywhere I want it to. So that's how to do it without the auto layout influencing it.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. So let's go back to just going to undo. So that's where so now we said okay. So now we said we want it that when I delete okay, so now this delete. When I delete an item, that this should go out. If let's say it can stay for 5 seconds, it can stay for 10 seconds, depending on how you want it to before it escapes. All right. So so how do we do that? This will be the work of the delete button, since it's the delete button that brings up that item. So for my delete button, I'm going to prototype it. Now I'm going to add an interaction here. Remember, this other interaction has on tap. So I'm going to add a new interaction. The new interaction is going to say after delay. All right. After delay, 800, this is 0.8 seconds. So I'm going to take it to 10,000. 10,000 is 10 seconds. All right. So that's how it is. 100 is 0.1 seconds. 1,000 is 1 second, right? So that I think most of us are always confused with that. So after delay, 1,000 milliseconds, that's after 10 seconds, because I want users to have a little bit of time to do that. Then set variable. And my variable we are looking at is what? Undo modal to be equals to false. So I want it after 10 seconds, it should escape. Well, yeah, it should escape. So let's see that in action. So I'm just going to refresh this and then I'm going to delete it. Hold on for 10 seconds and then see if our model escapes. If it does not, then we'll push it out. Do not up to 10 seconds yet. Okay, I think my guy does not want to work. So let's see, let's be sure. So let's delete it again and then see what happens. Interesting. So let's go back to our Asha. I knew this was going to happen somehow. Let's go back to our prototype. Let's see. After delay, set variable show undo model equals to false. This is 10,000. Oh, 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 oh. Asha hope is 1,000. Is it 1,000? Let's see. Let's see. Let's see if I made mistake on the calculation. Let's see that. So one. I hope I did not give it 10 minutes. Then I think there's an error somewhere. So let's see what that is. Why is that? Except I have mixed up this particular section. Hold on. Let's see something. After delay, set this to after delay, set variable show undo autumn to be false. Let's see. Now I've changed something there. So let's take this to out. Still not working. Then let's see. Let's see if we should apply that to the entire, right? This entire card here. There's always a need to tell what do you call it? To tell Figma, all right, that it should after delay it should do a particular work. But I don't think this is where that is going to be. All right, because this is, hold on. Let's see. Let's remove this out. Let's use the main cat, this main file here. After delay set variable, I'm just going to add, yep. After delay, set variable 800 seconds. Let's just use this to see what are we doing? Undo model to be equals to true, no false. We need this to be false. We don't want it to show. And let's refresh this. So if I delete this, my undo model is still there, and I don't know why. Okay, so we'll solve this issue as we are going. So we'll come back when maybe the inspiration comes back. But in the meantime, let's go back to another thing. We'll attend to it later. Okay, so we want to update our button. So we want this particular button to show to be inactive when I don't have anything here, or disabled. I would say when I don't have anything here, well, inactive, so can still do the work. Then I want it to be active when I have at least one item. So let's see, let's go to our components. What do we have? So we have disabled, we have active, and we have default. So what do we do here? So the the first thing we are going to do here is we are going to create a string variable for this particular, sorry, a string variable for this button, all right, the button state. And this, we are going to do this in our cat variable, all right, in our cat variable. So we are going to call it string, and then I'm going to call it button state. All right, and this is a string, right? And you have to be careful with strings. I've said this before now. When you are typing a string, be careful of your spellings, all right? So we have it to be at default. Uh, so that is my string state. My value is at default, and thereafter we are going to apply it to, not to the component, but to the instance of that component. So let's go back to the instance, right? So we are going to apply it here. And this is where we apply, where you have properties. So let me just change this to state to be consistent. I'm just going to change this property, just going to call it state. Okay, so let's go back. So we have this state. So our button state is going to be called, so we're going to attach it to our button state. So this is going to be at default, all right? It's going to be at default. So we have bind that to it. So now we are going to add a condition, right? Remember when we talked about condition, it is an if statement. If this is this, then this should happen, else that should happen. Then that is where we can go to our prototyping, add interaction. This is going to be, is it going to be on top? Yeah, let's leave it on top. Let's leave it on top first, because I don't think that will actually do anything. Let's leave it. Oh, sorry, we need a condition, not a variable. So conditional. So on the condition, we are going to say if this cat is empty, then the button should be this should be default. All right, we are using default and disabled. Well. Should we use disabled? Well, you can change. We have three of them. So it should be if button state. So we are going to just go ahead. If button state equals to now remember it's a string, and for string we always use strings with a quote. All right, so we are going to give it a quote, because if I should type active here, let's see, will that work? That will not work, because it does not understand what I just typed in. So for it to understand this particular action, I'm going to put it in a quote. All right, I'm going to put it in a quote, and then I will enter. It understands that. All right, it's a string. So I'm going to say if button state equals active. No. That's, sorry, my bad. Let me delete this out. That's not what we were supposed to do there. Sorry, I was distracted. So let's allow it to be on top, because the conditional is going to address that. So if cat count, sorry, if cat count, that is if this item where we have our item equals to 0. So equals to is 2 equals to, all right? Yeah, for most of us that maybe have done programming one way or the other, it's always 2 equals to. think I learned this while in school. I think that should be towards my I think not JS, my year two or thereabouts. I think we did in C plus plus. Okay, so if cat count equals to zero, because one equals to means you're assigning the next value to it. So if I was saying cat count with a one equals to, that means if cat count equals to zero, sorry, cat count means zero. That's cat count is zero. That's what it means with one equals to. But with two equals to means that cat count is equal to, that's the main equals to. Well, I don't know who came up with that. But my point is, so if cat count equals to zero, then that is where we have action. Then what should happen? Set variable to be our button state. Yeah, button state to be what? Our button state should be if it's equals to zero. So our button state, remember, it should be in a string with a quote, should be at default. Where's my last? So default. So that is it. So if I refresh this, uh, sorry guys about that. Uh, sorry guys about that. Network is a bit disturbing here. Okay, so let me reshare back. Let me reshare the screen. Okay, so let's close this. This has been for a while. Let's restart the prototyping so as to be sure that we yep. So let's see if cat count. So this cat count is already inside, meaning my button is supposed to be active. So what is the challenge? So let's see. Hmm. So I'm happy that we are even having this most of these challenges, because in the process of us having these challenges, you can now understand the logic behind um oh oh I see. Oh, tell me I assigned it. I assign this? I did not. So I did not assign this to the variable. Okay. I did not assign it to a variable, right? Right clicking and then telling them, oh yes, that this particular image or this particular product is my button, right? Is it button? Is that what I named it?
Button
Hold on.
state.
Yeah, button state. Thank you. Let me detach that. Where's my button state? Button state. So let's refresh this. Okay, so let's see. That is still not working, but at least we've solved one problem. We've solved one problem. So let's see what happened to the state. So this is it, prototyping conditional. So if count equals to 0, our button should be um, inactive. Else, let's use an else statement. Let's see. Else set variable to be button state to be true. No, sorry, we are using a string to be active. I hope I edited those names, because if I did not, then this is where the challenge is. Let's check that out. Default, active, and disabled. Yep, that was renamed. And this is state. So let's go back to our instance. Let's refresh this. And it's still not working. We have our button state assigned. So what is keeping it from working? Let's see. Let's put an after load effect, like after load here. So we are going to say uh, let's remove this, and this did not do what we want it to do. So let's say after delay. Wait, I think that is where the problem is. That is where I think the problem of this is not my problem though. Let's see. Should this be after delay? But if it is after delay, I'm going to put this to a I'm going to put this to timing, and that is not how it should be. That's not how it should be. Please hold on. Let me try to see what could be the problem of this. Where should this be? So let's logically reason this. So what we are looking at, we want this button to be disabled when this is actually um when this is actually 0, when this is empty. But how do we track this empty with this? Hold on. Think. Let's see. Let's remove this. Let's go to our delete, let's see, our delete option, because it is the delete that will make the count to be 0. Okay. So so the question is it, let's use this section. So I'm going to set over here. Yes, it's going to be on tab. Okay. On tab, set variable. Oh, not set variable, my bad. On tab, conditional. It should be if count. We this is the last thing for this section. Then we're supposed to look at the keyboard. I don't know why this is taking us this section this long. If count equals to 0, then set variable to be button state to be in a string. Button state should be default. I hope it's not because I have 3 variables there that is making this not work. Default, right? So let's see. So let me rearrange this. I need this to be, I don't want this else statement to be here. I don't want this to be here. I want this to stand on its own. But I don't think it matters though, but I like arranging my stuffs. Right, so let's see. Let's go back to this. Then let's refresh this. Interesting. This is still not giving me what I want. Oh, okay. So let's still look at this. So we have two issues now. Our model has refused to go run away, and our active button has refused to. So let's see. Let me just see something. Let me see something. I hope that state was actually, let me replace this. Let me replace this because trying to figure out what could be this issue. Sorry, not this. Right click and then um, show button state. Hmm. Uh, okay, so when we want our button state to show inactive while doing that, we need to set this to be that your button state should be at default when it is 0, and yeah, and when your count is 0, yes, that should be when we have this 0. And then if we delete this, delete, we have 0, and then we have this. So another functionality we can add here is if I have an element here, then my button state should come back to being active. Okay, so let's try to bypass. Let's see if we can approach it this other way. So I'm going to use my alert to do that. So I'm not going to go into that. I'm just going to use this section for that. Then go to prototyping, and then I'm going to say I'm going to use a conditional here that if on tap uh, uh let's try something. Let's try it that way. Let's go back to our delete button. Let's just try it that way. I'm trying to see the best way we can do this. So let's go back to this section. Then I'm going to say on tap. No, not on tap, because if cat count equals to 0, set to default. Else, let's use an else statement here. Else variable button state should be equals to a string active. I think this is the best way we can do this to be simple. So let's see. So if we click this, click this, click this, click this, click this, it's 0. Then if I undo it, my button state should be active. So let's use the other way into it, since this conditional is not working. But let me try it again by refreshing this. Delete, 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 delete 0, and active. Wait, what did I even press? What did we do there? What was the, if it is equals to 0, let's go back to, because um I think what we should do here is just want to try this logic. I didn't try it. So if delete, right? Tab. So we said if cat count equals to 0, button state should be default. Else, that means if it is not equals to 0, button state should be active. But at the same time, let's try something. Let's add a condition here. So let's say set variable. No. Okay, let's change this. So let's say if cat count equals to, if cat count equals to equal greater than or equals to, so let's use this, greater than or equals to 0, then button state should be set to default, greater than or equals to 0. No, I don't think that works. I think that will not work. That will not work. Yep, because this is greater than or equals to 0. So it is greater than 0. So button state is currently inactive, which is not what we asked it. That's what we asked it to do, but that's not what we want. That's not what we want. Well, we have another 3 assignments there. So while practicing, you can try to solve that. Let me introduce, because I think very soon other section will begin. So this is cat count equals to, sorry, cat count equals to 0. Then our button should be default. I think there should be an else statement that can, if statement that can work with this, or else. That's, but we don't have time to rack our brain on that. Okay. So we have that has been done already. So that undo functionality, I think I just brought it up. So let's look at another stuff here. So let's see how can we make our keyboard functional. Let's see how we can do that in, I'm just going to introduce that with 2 or 3 functionality and 2 buttons, because we don't have time to look at it again. So I'm just going to go towards my right. So this is what we need for this. We need an input field for this, and then we also need a button for this. So how do we make this? So the first thing we are going to create here, so I'm just going to go to variable, and then I'll create a new collection because I want to do this. I want to manage my stuff well. So I'm just going to create this to be keyboard. Keyboard. All right, so it will be keyboard. Then so I'm going to create a string variable, and this I'm going to call it name. All right, display, can call it display name. I like using this to be capital. So display name. So this is going to be a string, and I'm going to call it let's see, what do we have here? So I'm just going to use exactly what we have here for that. So I'm just going to copy this. So this says type something here. So let's delete this because we didn't make this variable here. Delete. Okay, so this says type something here. So that's why we are having that. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start creating a variable for each of these. So I'm just going to group this because I like, I'm just going to group this. Then I'm going to say new group selection. So this group is going to be called input. How do we call it? Hint text. So int text. Not really int text, but we are going to use it. So I'm just going to create another variable. So we'll be using this particular one, and this is string. Okay. So I'm just going to say keyboard or text slash text slash, let's say Q. So your naming convention can happen as you want it to. All right. So that is, oh, sorry, excuse me. So that's up to you to determine how you want to name it. All right. So the next thing we are going to do is no, I don't think we need this section. Sorry. There's a way we can go about this, but this is going to be a long process. So I don't want us to use this process. Right? So let's just keep it there, but we will not use it. So we are going to select this particular frame that has K. Right? We are going to select it. I'm using a component for it because I want it to have an instance. All right. So we are going to select this particular K. All right. Then I'm going to go to prototype. Let's spare, because I think I'm just going to do it for maybe 2 or 3 letters, maybe for K and then for space, and yeah, for space, so that we can see how we can integrate that for space. All right. So I'm going to say on tap. All right. On type, set variable to be equals to, remember what we named our other variable, what we call it? We called it right, display name. So display name is going to be no, hold on, we are not going to use variable for this. I think on tap, hold on please, on tap set, okay, we are going to use conditional. It's going to be conditional. So it's going to be if display name yeah, if display name equals to, what did we have for that display name? Hold on, I need to copy that. So if display name equals to where is our I need to come back to this section. I don't think this will allow me to. Or do we still have it as a text? Yep, we still have it. Okay, so I think I would have just, let's go back. Let's click on this prototype, conditional. So if display name equals to type, oh, interesting. Let's use a simpler way for this, because I think this is going to stress us a bit. Variable display name, type something here. That's long. So I'm going to use text, let's say text input. Oh no. Okay, type here. Not text input. Then let's rename this to text input. You can name it anything. I'm just trying to see how you can. Oh boy. So yeah, conditional text input equals to type here, right? Remember, it has to be a string. If not, it will not work. So we'll now put this in a string. So if it equals to type here, then set variable text input to be equals to Q. Then we are going to add, this is going to be a string, right? No, we don't need plus. Then else, set text input. No, why is it taking that hint plus? Okay, it's in a folder. I think I need to detach it from, but it doesn't really matter. So text input to text input plus q. So we said if text input equals to type here, then set text input to q. That means q will appear to q. All right. Else, if it is not equals to this, then still display text input plus q. Remember, this your q. So this your q is what we have here. So in the meantime, so let's just test that first, because I think we're out of. Let's test it first. So I'm just going to create. Okay, no. We have a frame. We have a frame already. So I'm just going to copy this. Going to replace, paste to replace. Then I will bring in this here. So I'm just going to click on this. Then select all the text, all the layers. Right. So it's going to select matching layers, and then I'm going to apply text inputs to it. So you see that it have changed to type here, which is what we have. Right. So I'm just going to bring this out. Sorry. I'm just going to take this out here. So let's go to the frame we are using it. So for now, let me just duplicate this because I don't want to disturb this particular. So we are going to use this. So I'm just going to paste to replace. Yeah. So I'm going to say on tap. Okay, let's remove this first. Let me see. Does this have that functionality? Yep, it does. Okay. So I'm going to say on tap. I'm just going to do a prototype here. On tap, open overlay. So my open overlay, I want it to take to bring in. I didn't rename this. Hold on. Let me rename this keyboard so that it will be easier for me to locate it. I wonder how I missed that. So I'm just going to rename this to. Oh, it's our system. Yeah, on that system we have keyboard for. So let's see. Click on this on tap, open overlay system. So I want the system to be bottom center. Okay. Most times you can also use manual. So with manual, you can adjust it to wherever you want it to be. All right, so you can use that. I think that's easy, right? That's it. Yep, that did. So let's see. On tap, this comes up, and if I press Q, my Q is bringing in string value. So there is where we are having a challenge there. So let's restart this. So let's see. Does the string value, is it because of, let me see something. But most times, how this works is most times it needs you to use the exact keyboard you use for that particular and not an instant. think what I would have done is to maybe just do it directly on this. So let's see. So on tap, okay, I have to do that again. So it's going to be on tap, navigate to or open overlay. So the open overlay is going to be system keyboard. And this is going to be close. Click when I then it's not going to have a background. So I'm just going to do it bottom center. And then that's it. So let's just run that. So if I tap here and then type in Q, still bringing in string value to me. So let's see, let's solve that first. So let's see, where is it carrying string value from? Let me do it this way first. So let's check it one after another. I'm just going to ungroup it just to have text, then just going, oh, I see, I see, I see, I see, I see, I see. So this is because I gave it a string value here. Okay. So this is because I gave it a string value here. So let's say this is done and I type in Q. So the mistake was from me. I did not assign a value to it. So that's why we are having that. So you can see I can type in Q as many times as I want to and it will come up. All right. So let me repeat that with one more. So most times when doing this, this is going to be a long protocol too. Because I did not want us to use this method. Using this method means I'll have to create W for this too. I have to create W. And now know that when you are doing this, yeah. So let's just use the first one of the first word that most of us when we went to learn computer at first in the 1920s, what we learned how to type query. All right. So let's just use this. So that will mean when doing this too, I will have to also set a variable for the small letters Q. Okay, so I have to have the small letter Q, small letter W, small letter E. So I said I was going to show us one special character. So the special character is going to be space. So I'm just going to call this space. And then while here, sorry, space. So while here, I'm just going to delete it and then just tap a space. All right. So that is the variable that is going to have. There's a space here, if you notice. There's a space here. So that is what we have for the space. So let's say we wanted to also create for, let's say question mark. So I'll just say question. So the variable here is just going to be our question mark. All right. So let's assign for query. So what I'll advise you to do in this case, so because typing this condition is going to take you a while, right? This is going to take you a while. But in the meantime, I want to try something else. I hope we can still hear me.
Yes, you can hear you.
Okay, thank you. So I want us to try something else that I can without creating a string. So I did not create a string for P. So let's see if that will work. So on tap, condition. So if text input equals to type here. I think I need to make that type here this thing. Sorry, this should be a string. Equals to type here. Then set variable. What happened? Hold on, let's go back there. I don't know where it's running to. Let's take this up. Then set variable text input to be equals to Q. Sorry, we are looking at P, right? To be P. No, not this one. To be P. Coming. I don't know why that is. To be P. Why is it picking up my font? To be P. Okay. I need it to be a string. all right, to be P, else set text txt input to be tex input plus P, enter, sorry, plus P string, enter. All right, so let's see if we type in here. So that still works. All right, so you don't necessarily need to assign it to your variable. Okay, so I was sure this was going to work, so that's why I needed to do that. Right, so this is one way you can also do that. So let's try the other way with what we had our W. So this is on tap set variable. So this is going to be set variable to t. Oh, not set variable. Why am I this not set variable, set condition, right? To be txt input equals to, why is this always type here, right? Equals to type here. So let me put this in a string at once. Type here. Now I'm going to show you something. Type here, then condition, set variable to be txt input to be cure. So now W, that's what we are looking at. It's a capital letter. So it's a string. So just plus else. Let's see, without the else statement, would this still work? So I'm just going to reset, then type. So we've done for W. So without else statement, this can still work. But here, so we've done for P. Okay. So without else statement, that's why most times else statement is always optional. So this can always solve your problem alone. This alone solves the problem. So well, without health statement is just making you look professional. So I was, because if txt, if you are pressing this and then you want, this is like, yes, I want to replace type here with W when I click this particular when I click here. So that's basically what it means. So wait, does this mean I'll have to W? Kill. Oh, I see. So we now notice the why we need the else statement. We now see why we need the else statement. I did not even notice that. So we need the else statement to continuously type it, because W will only give you one time, and this will not work because what it's seeing currently now is not type here. I can only use W here when it is type here that is there, because that is what I just replaced with. So that's why we now have this else statement that says else set variable txt this to be txt plus, all right, plus W, then enter. So if I now want to type W now, it will continually go that. So let's check the next one. All right, so before we continue, so let me just do for this ERTY quickly. Hold on, my system, my mouse, I don't know why it's hanging. Okay, so now you now notice that if you want to repeat this process for all this, it's going to take you a while. So what is the shortcut for this? Well, really not a shortcut, because you still have to manually change it. So what you can do is, yes, I have set for W, then tap on where you have this towards the end of it. You can just use your combination key, Control C, to copy, all right? Or Command C, depending on whether you're using a Windows or a Mac. Then tap on the one you want to work on it, and then use your command Control V. It's going to bring it there. So what you do is you now come here, you change the text from W to P, right? It was P we are working with. Sorry, to E. So you change it to E, then also do the same thing here towards your else statement, and then change it to E too. And then if we see that here, if I type in here, you can see our E works. So that is one way you can do that. So you can just, we already copied it, so I'll just paste it and then change it from E to R. Sorry, from W to R. This is where you change it after clicking it from W to R. Then click here too, then change it from W to R, then enter. Then I'll do the same thing to T. Right? Paste it. Did I make? I think I skipped it to Y. I don't think I created this for Y, but I think it will still work without that though. So we want to create for T. So under prototype, oh, I did not select. So it's for T we want to create for. Then I will just change this tab here, then change this from T, then change this to T. Sorry, this was already changed. This is what I want to change to T. Okay, then I think the last one I just want to do is, okay, not the last one, second to the last, is change this to W, change W to Y, and then change it from this N also to Y. Then I'll enter. Okay, so let's do for space. Now I want such that when I click on space, it should yeah, it should give in room. So what you do here is on tap, yeah, no, don't worry. Let's just paste it. So I'll click on it. Let's see. I'll paste it, then change conditional. So over here, what we'll do is we will delete the W and then keep a space. All right. And then the same thing we'll do here. We'll delete the W and then keep a space. So if we want to try that, if I click on here, then I type query space T. So we see now we have this. All right, so this is how you do the same. It's the same thing with numbers. So instead for numbers, you will be using numbers for it. All right. So you'll try that at your own pace. But I think the component stuff would have worked. I didn't just keep looking at it. I didn't just look at it. All right. So do we have any questions? I think we still have small. Let's close the class by 5:30. So in the next 6 minutes or thereabouts, we are going to. So if you have any question, please go ahead to ask. While I think we'll still solve one problem that I want us to solve. That
Hello, can you hear me?
what do we call it? This particular what do we call it? Where is it? This particular toast, this alert that is giving me problem. I want it to disappear, and we are going to solve that in this class before we go. But I think I can. All right. Any question?
Please, when is the class? When will you upload the class? The last week and this one, because literally I can hardly get. In fact, I would say I not even get up to 10%. So please, when will the class be uploaded? Because everything is just overwhelming and complicated.
Okay. I think I'll reach out to the admin. Both of the classes will be uploaded this night. All right. So any question? Mm. Okay, so no other questions. So
Sorry, sir.
yeah, who is that?
Mr. Yemi.
Yeah, hold on, please. Let me think.
Okay, sir.
My volume is still down. Oh boy. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. So I just wanted to confirm. When you were dealing with the keypad, the buttons on the keyboard,
Mm.
how were you able to? It's like you were able to transfer the settings for, let's say, for R into T. Is it that you copied it and then clicked,
Yes, yes,
okay, and then
that's what.
pasted?
Yes.
Oh, okay, and
So
just copied. Okay.
yeah, just but you don't right click. Right click does not work there. So basically, what you do is you tap on. You don't. If you tap on the contents inside, it will bring this out. So you tap at on the H part of this. All right.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that will highlight it. Then you use your combination key on the keyboard, and then when you come here to you tap on which of the products you actually want to do it on, then still use your combination key and then do that. Then remember you have to change it, because if you don't change it, it's going to carry this. So you need to change it. So this particular one is you. So let me just change that at once. All right.
Thank you,
So
sir.
yep.
Thank you.
Okay, so is anybody that found out a way that we can remove this? Did anybody try to figure out how can we remove this? Let me see how. Because me, I've been talking all the while now, so I could not think of anything. So on top, what did we say? Wait. Yeah, show undo model. Yeah. So after delay of this, we want it to set variable show undo model to false. And why is it not working? Why is it not working? That's the question I have for this. Because this should work with that particular, unless, because I'm noticing something here. Why are we having these changes relative to time? Okay, so is there anyone that has that think of how this can be solved? We are open to, let's rack our brain together. Let's see. I'm just going to, where is it? This is for keyboard. So cat. I think we created that in product. Yeah, product undo. So I'm just going to put this on so I can see what was happening here. Okay, why not add this to this body? Why not add this to this body? So let's see. Not on tap. So after delay. So let's just make it this simple. After delay, set variables to be button. No, not button. What did we call this guy? Undo model to false. I think this should work. This our problem. If I delete. Nice. Thank you. Problem has been solved after a while. Now, Shebi, none of you went to look at this. When we were thinking about this when we were having class. So where did I have that in? Okay, so this is it. So I'm just going to increase this to 10,000. That's 10 minutes. So I want users to be able to have time to tap on it. So while so let me take this back to because this will show on the design. But since we already giving it a code, that's why it have not shown, because I've not clicked anything. I said for in our conditional, we said only when we click on the, so it doesn't really matter when it is showing you. So I only said only when we click on the delete, that's when it should come up. And after 10 seconds, I want it to also disappear. So where we have our loader, if we had our loader, we would have also given our loader 10 seconds, so that when once it is that, it will now move out of the way. And I don't know why this is not showing, this particular icon is not showing. Is it because I used the font? Okay, so but we still have something to solve. What I said you should go and look at, make research at, is when I delete this and then click on my undo, why is this coming up as this again? Okay, because this should come up as 1,000, not this. But at the same time, let's see, we gave this undo, that when it comes on tap, that it should reveal our total price. Our product total price to be product's best price multiplied by the cut, right? Cut price. So let's see if we remove this, what happens. So this is 1,000, and then if I remove it and then undo, it still comes back, because I don't know where it is getting this idea from. That was that particular thing was supposed to, because my product price still remains this. So let's take out the product price. Let's see what happens. So if I do this, so we have 500. If I undo, oh, okay. So well, I've even solved I've solved our problem for us. So I think I already given it an instruction. It already knew what to do. But okay, if there was no undo, I did not make anything for this too. So, but if I undo this, it will take me back to 800, which is correct. Okay, so there's no card for this. So that's why there's no undo. So I can also check that if I undo this. So, but we still have another problem. So the problem is, when I undo this, I want this button to be active. So should we try solving that problem on this class, or should I allow us to go and rack our brain on that?
Let's solve it.
Mr. Yemi, there's no way. You are lazy. That was a trap. I was looking for who was going to fall into it. Mr. Yemi, you go and do research.
Do you know the amount of things that I have to put in my head since morning now? We have been doing mathematics since morning, sure you know.
Okay, so let's see. I'm just giving myself 3 minutes. If we can't solve it in 3 minutes, then I'm out. We'll go and solve it. Okay, so let's see. We want that when we click on undo, all right, our button state should become active. So the question is, where will we implement this? Where would we implement this? Because let's see. Let's try to manipulate something here. So let's add an interaction to this. So let's say not on tap. I don't want it to be on tap. It can't be on tap, because this should be an action that will take me to here. Because I want to give it a condition. Mouse enter after delay. Nope. Mouse leaves. We'll have to find a way, because if I want it to do this way, because if let's say let's see something after delay. Well, I'm just giving this is not going to work. Well, we can change that later. If condition, what's the condition? That the condition is if cat count equals to no, that's not the condition. if undo model, hmm. Let's check something. If cat count equals to 1, no, we said when we undo it that we want it to happen. So this, we are going to run it with this undo button. So on top of this undo button, we want oh yes, I think this is where we'll solve that problem. We want to set variable, and our variable should be no. We need a condition. It's going to be a condition. It is going to be a condition. So conditional, that still on tap, if cat count, where is this boy going to? Coming over. If cat count, boy, where am I even clicking to? Set variable that if cat count is equals is greater than, I don't think this is going to work, but let's see, is equal to 1. Okay, if cat count is 1, if cat count is 1, then let's add a condition. If cat count is 1, then set variable, let's see, I'm just trying to see how we can do this. State button to be equals to, state button should be state button to be state button to be true, right? But I don't think this is going to work. The logic here is not even, it's not, I don't think it is. No. What are we saying? True to be active, right? So let's undo. Let's see. If I delete this, let's see, I delete this, then undo. Well, still hasn't worked. So I said if cat count equals to 1, set our button thing to be active. Cat count is 1 and our button is not active. I don't know why. Let's go here. No. This will not work because I'll need to perform action on this. But at the same time, we can use an action of a delay that when it loads for 1 millisecond, that I want it after 1 millisecond that it should take on that condition that if cat count, I just want to, is equals to 0, equals to 1, is equal to is greater than or equals to 1, then our what do you call it? Our button state should be a string active plus hard to string. Refresh this, delete, undo. Well, I've tried. My 3 minutes have exhausted. So, gentlemen, this is your task. Well, you'll be surprised to see. I think the next task I will give, I'll assign it to every marker, so that when you solve this problem, that this is the mark you have when you solve this problem. So this particular problem, I might give you 50 marks. Oh, okay. So go and rack your brain on this. But I think that will be after the video has been uploaded, so that we can also see. So you have 2 assignments or 2 tasks to research on. Now I want it that when this is being done, this is active, that is number one. Oh, I didn't show you how to make this come up. Well, well. Then also that when I had a content here, let's say for that, when I click on it, I should be able to see those card contents that I had to here. Well, I don't think Figma has that ability to do that. I don't think they have the ability to do that. But well, you can make research on that. But before we go, so let me show us how to implement this, how to bring in this message. All right. How do we get the message of say cart is empty? So before we start, we will need to bring in, so I'm just going to remove this and then bring it in here. So let's take our this thing back. So I'm just going to bring it here. So the problem we'll have here is that this is how this is going to be displayed. This cannot display in it will not be able to display at the center, because you see how it will come up as. All right, so it has to be displayed this way. So our card has, it will not be center aligned. So I just want to show us how to bring in this particular message. Okay, this particular message here. So how do we do that? Is there any way that think of a way this can be solved or this can be done? Let me see if any of us is following me. How do we display this empty? It's simple though. I'll not say it's simple like ABC, but shy is simple. It is something we are going to, it's a logic that we have used before that we are going to use here.
We can probably, sorry, sir. Sorry, I want to answer it. I want to try.
Yeah, go
We
ahead.
can probably use the if condition that when cart is empty, then this will be displayed.
So how do we get that the cart is empty?
Okay, when cart count is 0.
Okay. All right.
And then
So what do you think is the first step that we need to do before we can assign that? Anyways, you've tried. Is there anybody else that can attempt that? What do you think is the first thing we need to create? We need to create a variable for this. What do you think is the first variable, or what type of variable do you think we need to create? Think of a variable sorry?
a boolean.
Yeah, it's going to be a Boolean variable because we want to be able to turn off and also turn on. All right, so Boolean is what helps us do that. So yep. So let's create a Boolean variable for this item. And this, I'm going to create it in our cart. All right. So we are going to call it empty cart message. You can name yours however you want to name it. I'm going to set it at default to be false, right? It's going to be false at default, right? Then I'm going to select this, and then when I select this, I'm going to band it to empty cart message. So it's going to hide inside of it. So it is only going to come up when the cart is empty. Now, the next question to see, where do you think which of the elements are we going to prototype on? Anybody? Mr. Yemi, can you try? Which of the elements do you think we are going to run this prototyping on?
I'm just suggesting, I think see the card count, that is going to say 0.
Yes, I know it is what will be 0, but the question is, which of the elements will do? Who is that? Someone was saying something. All right. Vera says the delete button. So it is the delete button that will do the work. All right. it is the delete button that is going to take the work. Thank you. So we will do it from our components section. All right. So on the delete button, this delete button has carried a lot. So on this delete button, we are going to, now what I would have done here, I don't know how this, I've not tried it though, so I don't know if it's going to work. So let's create a variable into this particular variable that we've created already that have this, because this already says if cat count equals to 0, then set state button to default. So this already is what we want to do. So let's set a variable, say what are we doing? Empty message. So empty message equals to, when it is 0, it will be true. All right. So let's see if this is going to, where is it? So this is where it is. So let's bring it down here. So let's put it here. Where's my, hold on. I don't know what happened there. Let me shall not here say I've done. I'm having a set variable here that is empty. Why is it there? Okay, so empty cat this, so we want it to be true. So let's put it there. Let's see if that works. If that doesn't work, that means we'll have to create a new conditional for that. But I pray it works though. So let's see. So this is it. So we delete, we delete, we delete, and we delete. Well, that works. So that shows you this. Well, why is this? Oh, I gave it 10 minutes or 10. So sorry, 1 minute for that. So what? 10 seconds. So that is how we can have, but I'm trying to see, is there a way we can actually make this fixed? Let's see something. I think there's a way we can do this. Let's try to bypass. Let's remove it from the auto layout. Okay, then let me center align it. Okay, I didn't even okay, so that solves the problem. That solves that problem. So if we now bring in an element here, so it will not be there. If I delete this, it doesn't if I delete this, then it tells me cat is empty, and then and then all right, explore category. All right, GVK, you want to say something? Go ahead. Well, I just feel it that you have something to say inward, like there's something you want to say. But anyways, so that will be, I think we've solved almost all our problems. But you have two assignments. Assignment number 1 is I will have showed us how to make this when we turn on our dark mode, how to regulate that, but we don't have time again. So that's assignment number 1. Learn how to do this. The assignment number 2 is do we have anything here for assignment number 2? No, I think that was sorted. Assignment number 2 is when I put in, let's say, remember when we selected this, if I add this to this, it's going to change from 4 to 8. Okay, it's going to change from 4 to 8. So when I click on this, I want to be able to, when I click on it, I want it to carry me to this section that I will see this particular product that I click on, that it is 8 that it has. Well, here is having 4. Yep, I know why. I know why here is having 4. And here I've increased to 8. Interesting. And this is 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, let me, I think I know why though. So, but that's not my, that's not purpose of this. So this is what we know. All right, so at the end of the class, you'll be able to, at the end of this will be the end for the advanced prototyping. So I think our next topic is going to be VR and AR, visual whatever and A whatever, augmented visual, augmented reality and visual reality. So yep. So basically, so what we have done or what we have learned during this particular section is that we now know how to increase our, let's take it one after another. We know how to increase. I think we first of all started with this introduction, which I taught us how to use this, a component to link up all your friends instead of doing it one after another. Okay. So instead of you linking up this to this, this to this, this to this, A to B, B to A, so that can be done by using a component which the instant of it is what belongs to each of these pages. So the instant of this component is this, instant of is this. So when making it a component, you can just, instead of doing that, you can just link the component itself down to the page that belongs to that particular title. So for support, we gave this support, we have home page, okay. Then we have technical, we have rental. So we just linked it directly from the component down to those pages. And with that, we can now move from anywhere we are in to any section. Remember, we use this shape for differential purposes, and then we can move instead of having to um, go through that again. So currently we are in technical support. There's no way it's going to take us to technical support. So that is why this particular section is not working. If I go to consulting, the same thing, consulting will not work because we are currently on that particular page. So that was the first thing we learned. And the second thing we looked into was actually how to increase this and also make our value inside increase, and also how to make our total price increase relative to the best price. So this is the price of this particular shoe, and to increase the total price of this particular shoe, say I take two, it's going to be this multiplied by this, and that will give us this price. And then we also learned how to use our our keyboard, all right, to make it work and also type. And okay, and also we have also learned how to uh, delete from our carts and also make it responsive to the items that are inside of it, and also how we can undo each an item that has been deleted, and also um, calculate the total cost of what is here to here. And also our checkout button should always be active when we only when we have a field, when we have an item, and should be disabled or inactive or default at a default state when the item is empty. And also we have learned how to make an empty state message appear when it is zero, when there is nothing inside, which we use our items here to actually solve that problem. All right. Then, well, we can't because we are out of time already. So the next thing we'll have learned is how to use our dark mode. That when I move from here to, let me use this. I didn't do this. I didn't. So if I move from here to here, we can toggle between dark mode and light mode, which is simple also to do. It's just to link it with your this particular section here. You change it with when you do your prototype, and then this is on tap or on drag, whatever you want to use. It will now change your variable mode, and then you can now, from variable mode, you can now switch. Oh yes, I want to map it to dark mode, I want to map it to light mode, and that's how you can actually do that. But before that can actually work, you have to link your page also to work with that. All right, so we have come to the end of this particular segment, and it's been nice and it has been a great journey. So thank you, and have I think we don't have any question again, right? Nobody has a question. So as I said, I'll reach out to the admin. The videos will be recorded. Will be uploaded between today and tomorrow. Yes, between today and tomorrow. So before the end of tomorrow, you will see when it is uploaded. I will notify the group. So just keep your eye on the group. And then our Saturday class we're supposed to have. I'll reach out to us when the time is right, and then we'll have the class. So I just need to pause, stop the recording here.